Hello, everyone, and welcome back to our podcast. Today, we have a very special topic that I know many of you are curious about, and it's something I often talk about with my students. We're going to dive into why reading is one of the most powerful ways to learn English. And I have my wonderful student Anna here with me today.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for having me, teacher. I'm really excited to talk about reading, even though sometimes it feels a bit difficult for me.
That's perfectly normal, Anna. Many learners feel that way at the beginning. But today, we want to show you how reading can truly transform your English journey. We'll talk about how it helps with your vocabulary, makes your grammar feel more natural, boosts your understanding, and even helps you speak and write better. And of course, it builds your confidence.
That sounds amazing. I hope to learn some easy ways to start. Sometimes I just don't know where to begin.
Exactly. We'll give you some simple, realistic ways to make reading a part of your daily life. Before we go deeper, I have a question for all our listeners. What do you like to read in English, or what do you want to start reading? Think about it and maybe share your thoughts later.
Oh, that's a good question. For me, sometimes I want to read, but then I open a book or an article, and there are so many words I don't know. I feel like I need to translate every single word, and then I get really slow. It takes me a long time, and I just lose my motivation.
Anna, you've just described the experience of almost every English learner, including myself when I was learning other languages. It's so common to feel overwhelmed by unknown words. You see a new word, and your first thought is, "Oh no, I must stop and look it up."
Yes, exactly. And if I don't translate, I worry I won't understand the story. Sometimes I try to read something, but then I just stop because it feels too difficult. Or I don't know what kind of books or articles are good for my level.
Those are all very valid concerns, Anna. It's true that if you stop for every word, reading becomes a chore, not a pleasure. And it's also true that choosing the right material is key. But here's the good news. Reading is like any other skill. It gets easier and more natural with practice. You don't need to understand every single word to understand the main idea. And your brain, without you even realizing it, starts to pick up patterns and meanings over time.
So I don't need to know every word? That's a bit hard to believe sometimes. How can I understand if I miss words?
Yes, you absolutely can. Think about reading in your native language. Do you know every single word in every book? Probably not. You use the words around the unknown word to guess the meaning. That's called context, and we will talk more about this later. For now, let us see how reading really helps, step by step, and why it's so powerful.
Okay, I'm ready to learn.
Great! So first, let's talk about vocabulary. When you read, you see new words and sentences. This is much better than just studying a list of words. For example, if you read, "The cat jumped over the fence," you might not know the word fence, but because of jumped over, you get an idea. And if you see fence again in another story, like "The small dog could not go under the fence," then you start to connect the dots. You learn the word not alone, but with other words, how it's used.
Oh, I see. So it's like my brain collects clues.
Exactly, your brain is like a detective. And second, reading really helps your grammar. Not by studying rules, but by seeing them in action. You read a sentence like, "She has been living in London for 5 years," and you just feel that it's correct. You don't need to know the name of the tense, but your brain starts to understand the pattern. Over time, when you speak or write, you'll naturally use these correct structures because you've seen them so many times.
That's interesting. I always feel like I have to remember a lot of grammar rules, but then I forget them when I speak fast.
That's because your brain is trying to build a sentence from many separate rules. But when you read, your brain takes in whole sentences, whole ideas. It's like building a house by looking at many finished houses, instead of just studying a blueprint. You start to understand how the pieces fit together naturally. This also helps with comprehension. Even without knowing every word, you can understand the main message, the feelings, the story, even if some words are new. Your brain fills in the gaps.
So I should try to focus on the general idea, not every single word.
Yes, exactly. And the more you read, the more your brain starts to think in English. You start to connect English words directly to ideas, not English words to your native language, and then to ideas. This makes your thinking faster and smoother.
Wow, that sounds really good. I want my brain to think in English. It's tiring to translate all the time.
It really is. And reading is one of the best ways to train your brain for that. Now, to make this a little more active, let's do a very short reading practice together. I'm going to say a simple sentence, and I'd like you, Anna, and everyone listening to repeat it after me. Don't worry about perfection, just try to get the rhythm and sounds.
Okay, I'm ready.
Great! The sentence is, the sun shines brightly every morning. Let's try it. The sun shines brightly every morning.
The sun shines brightly every morning.
Excellent, Anna. Very clear. Let's try it one more time, everyone. The sun shines brightly every morning.
The sun shines brightly every morning. It feels good to say it out loud.
It does, doesn't it? Reading out loud, even simple sentences, helps connect what you see with what you say. It improves your pronunciation, your rhythm, and builds confidence. Now, let's talk about building real-life reading habits. What do you think is the first step, Anna, when choosing something to read?
I guess something not too difficult? Maybe something interesting?
Spot on. The first and most important step is to choose materials that are at the right level for you. If it's too difficult, you'll get frustrated. If it's too easy, you won't learn much. A good rule of thumb is, if you understand about 80–90% of the words, it's probably a good level. You should feel challenged, but not overwhelmed. And yes, reading things you enjoy is also super important.
But how do I find things that are interesting? Like, I like fantasy books, but they have so many difficult words.
That's a great point. Maybe full fantasy novels are too much at the start, but you can find simpler versions. There are graded readers, which are books written especially for English learners at different levels. Or you could try blog posts about fantasy movies or short stories online. You can also mix it up. Don't just stick to one type of material. Try short articles about hobbies, news headlines, simple recipes, funny comics, or even song lyrics. Audiobooks can also be great because you listen and often follow the text at the same time.
Oh, comics! I never thought about comics. That sounds fun. And short articles about hobbies, like cooking or gardening, I like those.
Exactly. When you read about something you love, you're more likely to stay engaged. And here's another thing. Reading doesn't just help your vocabulary and grammar. It helps your speaking and writing too. When you read good English, you see how native speakers put sentences together. This helps you form your own sentences when you speak, and it gives you ideas for writing.
I notice that a little bit. Sometimes after reading a good article, I feel like I have new ways to say things.
That's because your brain is absorbing those natural patterns. It's like magic. Now, let's talk about those challenges again, like unknown words. We said before that you don't need to translate every word. How do you think you can guess the meaning of a new word, Anna?
From the words around it? Like, if the story is about a jungle, and I see a word like lush, it probably means something green and full of plants, right?
Perfect. That's exactly it. You use the context, and sometimes you don't even need to know the exact meaning. If you understand the general idea of the sentence, you can keep going. Don't let one word stop you. Just highlight it if you want to check it later, but keep reading. The flow is important.
Okay, that's a good tip. Highlight and keep going. I always stop. What about time? I feel like I don't have much time to read long books.
That's another common challenge. But here's the secret. You don't need to read for hours. Even 10-15 minutes a day makes a huge difference. Think about it. 10 minutes every day is 70 minutes a week. That's more than an hour. You can read during your commute, while waiting for a friend, or before bed. Short, daily reading sessions are much more effective than long, infrequent ones. Consistency matters much more than perfection or quantity.
Only 10 minutes? That feels very doable. I could try to read a short news article or a blog post while I drink my coffee in the morning.
Exactly. It's about building a small habit. Don't aim to read a whole novel in a week. Aim to read something every day. Maybe a page, maybe 2 paragraphs. Over time, these small actions will add up to big improvements. Remember, consistency is your best friend when learning English. Every little bit of reading helps your brain get used to the language.
That makes me feel much better. I think I can do 10 minutes a day, and I won't worry so much about every unknown word now.
That's the spirit, Anna. So, to wrap up, remember that reading isn't just about understanding words. It's about letting your brain see English in action. It silently improves your vocabulary, makes your grammar feel natural, helps you understand ideas better, and even trains you to think and express yourself in English.
And it also builds confidence, right? Because I will feel proud of myself for reading.
Absolutely. Every time you finish an article or a chapter, you get a little boost of confidence. So, our challenge to you and to Anna is to choose one thing to read today. It could be something simple, something short, something you enjoy. Just 10-15 minutes. And let us know. What do you like to read in English, or what do you want to start reading? Share your ideas.
I'm going to start with a short article about a travel destination I want to visit. Thank you, teacher. This was really helpful.
You're very welcome, Anna. And to all our listeners, remember, every single word you read is a step forward. Small steps, taken consistently, lead to great progress. Keep reading, keep learning, and we'll see you next time.